Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
It's one of the most enchanting stories of all time, introduced to the world in print, brought to life on film, and now made real at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, at Universal Orlando Resort.
Amazing, really, really enchanting.
There isn't a square inch that hasn't been meticulously thought of.
It's been years in the making.
I remember I would come out of films when I was younger and absolutely just wish that world could be real and that I could be a part of it.
And tonight we go behind the scenes to bring this fantastic world to life.
Descendo.
Once you're in Diagon Alley, there's nothing else. You are in Harry's world.
From conception...
How long can we hold on the Bombarda Maxima?
...to construction.
The last time I was here, there was nothing.
No detail has been overlooked in creating this magical place.
So folks, let's run Hogsmeade to London.
New scenes bring the original actors together again.
Young people will feel that they are actually in it, they're in the movie.
And new rides launch fans even closer to the magic.
Even when we were filming it, we always used to say this would make a really good ride.
It's a whole new chapter in the story of the bespectacled boy wizard.
I think everybody who visits it will just be staggered. They will just be literally staggered.
Harry Potter, The Making of Diagon Alley. Good evening, I'm Meredith Vieira. Through 7 novels and 8 films, Harry Potter has grown from an idea J.K. Rowling conjured up on a train to a multi-billion-dollar cultural phenomenon. Now fans of the boy wizard will get a chance to experience the magic like never before. When the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, opens up at Universal Studios, Florida, muggles from all walks of life will get to see, feel, touch, and even taste what until now they could only imagine. Tonight, we show you what it took to pull off this kind of magic, and it was far more than just a wave of the wand.
I saw the dragon breathing fire.
It's just mad.
It's all been done with a huge amount of thought and respect to the original, and it's really immaculate.
It's a magical night for wizards and muggles alike. Universal Orlando Resort is about to unveil its latest and greatest creation, one that's known to Harry Potter fans worldwide, Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley is where Harry started his journey to become a wizard. We are authentically recreating what was seen in the films and what was described in J.K. Rowling's fiction.
Universal Orlando Resort, like NBC News, is part of NBC Universal. And its creative team has set about bringing Diagon Alley to life at Universal Studios, Florida, creating an immersive and interactive experience for fans of the boy wizard.
A film set only really produces enough that the camera sees, whereas we have to produce everything from every angle.
There's nothing but discovery. Around every corner, you're going to find something else.
To pull off this bit of magic, they've assembled a team of artists, craftsmen, and creative minds. The result? A spot-on, authentic experience that amazes even those who have seen it all when it comes to the Harry Potter legacy.
The whole idea of walking down Diagon Alley the way Hagrid and Harry walked down, I think everybody who visits it will just be staggered. They will just be literally staggered.
The grand opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, is July 8th, but the Universal creative team is racing towards another deadline. A little more than 2 weeks before the attraction officially opens, the press and public get a special sneak peek at the Diagon Alley preview event. It's an ambitious and challenging project that will take years and bring Universal's own magicians around the globe as they develop new technologies to turn the world of Harry Potter into reality. To understand how they got to the finish line, we have to take you back to a point in time when Diagon Alley was just a dirt lot in Orlando. Our story begins 4 years ago to the day when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade, first opened at Universal's Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida.
Lumos Maxima!
I remember I would come out of films when I was younger and absolutely just wish that world could be real and that I could be a part of it.
But Hogsmeade was just the beginning. Universal Orlando already had its eyes set on the next goal, Diagon Alley.
We knew there were other places to go, and in particular, Diagon Alley was always something in the back of our mind as a place that people would love to be.
Universal Senior Vice President Terry Koo was the creative director for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade and is tasked with bringing this next challenge to life.
We're going to be able to create a world that the guests may have seen in the movies, but they only saw a section of it. Be able to create all these little alleys, tall urban buildings that have layers and layers of details. It's a different experience, totally different experience.
24 takes 7 on the end.
Almost 2 years after filming ends on the final Harry Potter movie, and more than 2 years before Diagon Alley is set to open, actors from the Harry Potter films gather at a studio outside of London. Nearly all of the original actors are there, including Rupert Grint, as one of Harry Potter's best friends, Ron Weasley.
Yeah, it was strange to put on the old costumes again, and I always had a sneaking suspicion that it wasn't completely over. I'll be back again.
Is it Tom Cruise? Is it Robbie Coltrane?
Robbie Coltrane once again dons the robes and facial hair to play Hagrid, the groundskeeper at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
I gotta say, I really missed having this hugely attractive beard glued to my face.
Helena Bonham Carter deals with her own wardrobe issues as the evil Bellatrix Lestrange.
I'd forgotten how many things can go wrong in the Bellatrix costume because I'm such a liability with all these bits hanging in and the hair is kind of annoying.
What's being shot here today will be part of one of the premier attractions in Diagon Alley, the Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts ride.
I need to get into Gringotts, into one of the vaults.
This is impossible.
Alone, yes. But with you, no.
Harry Potter's escape from the formidable Gringotts Bank in the final film was one of his greatest adventures, and giving ordinary muggles a chance to experience it is a massive endeavor.
We always used to say this would make a really good ride, because there's just, I mean, we got to sit on the top of a dragon, and the Gringotts vault carts are just, it's going to be terrifying.
We turn to Hermione, and then we'll hear boom, boom.
Hey, look! Charles! They're thick, but they're brutal.
The ride is an immersive experience that will catapult riders right into Harry's adventure. But today's filming is even more complex than the movies. Ultimately, the characters will be interacting directly with park visitors in 3D.
Are these the imposters? Just be like as if you're propelled bang in the middle of Harry Potter.
How long can we hold on the Bombarda Maxima? This started about 2 years ago, doing storyboards and doing a script, a treatment, and then, it took 2 years to formalize and to get to a point where we really like the story.
Terry Koo is directing the actors on a green screen, which will later be merged with graphics to create interactive 3D scenes for the park.
We're so fortunate that the original crew was available to work with us on this attraction because they know so much about Potter. They know all the techniques and the tricks they used for filming the 7, the 8 films.
And experiencing Harry Potter's world means coming face to face with all of Harry's enemies, including He Who Must Not Be Named, played by actor Ralph Fiennes.
Perhaps a little dose of pain to help you remember.
Young people will feel that they are actually in it. They're in the movie. They're in the story. With these, because the physical reality, I think, and the visual reality around them will be, you can almost reach out and want to touch it. And I think it'll be something they'll never forget.
And dragon, and shield.
When they come face me in Voldemort, I hope they're terrified out of their skins.
It's one of many tricks the team has up its sleeve, but the magic is far from over, and the ride is still years from completion.
Well, we've been at this for a couple of years already, and it'll be a couple of years till we're done. Between the ride technology, making a movie, building the entire environment, creating all the magic that happens within the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
So hold on to your broomsticks, because when we come back, the project steams full speed ahead.
I'm looking forward to seeing this painted.
And installed on the
Yes. Yes.
It's more than a year before the big grand opening of Diagon Alley.
Very nice.
And 2 members of the Universal creative team take a nearly 5,000-mile trip from Orlando, Florida.
It's really good to see this finally out in the sunlight and look at the various levels of aging.
They're here at a facility in Switzerland to get a look at the latest progress on what will be one of the biggest attractions in the wizarding world. The massive steam engine train that was so iconic in the books and movies, the Hogwarts Express.
This end feels a lot better here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think this is quite strong. Even the level of rust that happens in the corners, but this really captures the rain streak that we're looking for.
When the Universal team was in the early planning stages of Diagon Alley, they knew they wanted a way to connect the 2 parks while keeping guests immersed in the wizarding world. And the idea they came up with isn't just a stroke of magic, it's a stroke of genius.
The Hogwarts Express is probably one of my real loves of this. Here we have Hogsmeade, and now we're building Diagon Alley. And the journey between the two is, to me, one of the epic journeys in the book. It was only natural that we connected the dots and made an experience that connects the two.
Alan Gilmore was the supervising art director on 3 of the Harry Potter films.
We have the emblem of the Hogwarts railways here on the side of the tender. The vision of the Hogwarts Express at Universal is to recreate authentically and match the train as seen in the films.
Warner Brothers filmmakers took J.K. Rowling's imagined world and showed fans what it looks like. But now Universal's team is creating a very tangible world where people can touch everything, feel and experience it.
This is a really good example of the oil canning that we were looking for.
Yeah.
The kind of
looking
undulation
down
that happens.
the front of the train, yeah, you get that lovely bumping in the surface texture. That's really nice. That looks very realistic.
Back when the team was designing the train, their goal wasn't just to construct a ride, it was to deliver a real experience.
Genuine English steel.
And their mission has taken them to some places not necessarily associated with a theme park.
It looks very like the train we saw in Scotland.
Yeah.
It really resembles it. It's a really exciting journey we've been on. All the trips, all the hard work, going to London, going to Scotland, riding real steam trains, translating all those details into a real train which we see here in Switzerland. It's going to go on the left-hand side here below.
Gilmore and Mason say the prototype is an object of Swiss perfection.
Very good. Nice job.
But it turns out, perfect is a problem when trying to remain true to Harry Potter's story.
We want this train to look like it's travelled many times between London and Scotland, which is quite a long journey of several hundred miles. We actually had to scratch and dent and really make it feel like it's used.
You did a little bit.
I hit it a little bit. I hit it with the black.
Authenticity is the cornerstone and the core of everything that we do for the Wizarding World. And everything down to the rivets and the screws and washers and the mahogany paneling that's inside this train, to the fabric on the seats, everything has been researched and authenticated to the highest level.
It's about that low, isn't it?
That's about right.
The handle actually has to swing and not hit it.
Yeah.
When it's finished, the Hogwarts Express will incorporate some of the new scenes shot by Thierry Coup just for the experience. And some other surprises as well.
The attraction actually involves all aspects of sound, feeling. You'll see something happening outside, and then that will react with you in the carriage. There'll be lighting effects. It'll be a whole show, really.
It's a colossal effort to bring J.K. Rowling's words to life. Perhaps some of the passion behind this project is fueled by the importance of trains to the Harry Potter narrative. After all, the boy who lived was conjured up aboard one. It was nearly 25 years ago when J.K. Rowling was traveling by rail and inspiration struck.
I was on the train from Manchester to London and it came, just came.
Had something like that ever happened to you before?
Yes, truthfully. I mean, other ideas had just come to me because I think if you're a writer and that's what you spend a huge amount of time doing, ideas do come to you. But nothing had ever come so with such a, I thought, God, I'd love to write that. And when I got off the train, I went straight home and I started writing.
The author with the magic touch couldn't know then that the story she imagined would turn into 7 books, 8 movies, theme parks, and 1 rabid fan base.
I've read each book 10 times now, except for the fourth one, which I've read 11 times.
By 2005, when the sixth book of the series goes on sale at midnight, more than 5,000 bookstore parties nationwide celebrate what at the time is called the largest book launch in history.
It's J.K. Rowling!
And in Scotland,
he stared around, looking up at the boxes.
Rowling herself gives the very first reading of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince at Edinburgh Castle.
This is brilliant, said Ron.
In the summer of 2007, the seventh and final book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, is timed to be released within weeks of the fifth movie premiering. At this point, the boy wizard is cemented as a bona fide cultural phenomenon.
I mean, it's kind of like Harry Potter mania. I've never seen it quite this big.
You get a sense of it at the premieres because you see all the fans there. Harry's a character that's worked his way into the collective consciousness of millions of people of all ages around the world.
For Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, who grew up playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione, their love for Harry Potter existed long before they were cast in the roles.
I was such a huge fan of the books before I even auditioned for the role. And my dad used to read them to me and my brother before we went to bed every night.
It's just the most amazing kind of storytelling in that it just drags you in from the first page. And you get to the last page of that chapter and you think, oh God, no, okay, I'll just read the next one. So it's totally compulsive.
Warner Brothers' Harry Potter franchise goes on to become the highest-grossing film series of all time. And the book series is the best-selling of all time, too, with more than 450 million copies sold worldwide. Coming up, for their next act, it's back to Orlando for a visit from the man who has designs on conjuring up an entire city.
There must be a steel shortage in America.
Today is a big day on the lot in sunny Orlando, Florida, that's slowly but surely being transformed into a magical London alley.
You like? Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's great. Yeah. Yeah.
Stuart Craig designed the sets for all 8 Harry Potter movies and has been working with Universal Creative for the past 2 years, drafting sketches for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley.
So right about where I am is middle of the street.
And now he is getting his first glimpse at what's become of his work.
Well, that's a good contrast immediately from the openness of this to the comparative claustrophobia of this. The last time I was here, it was still the Jaws attraction, and so the shock, as I came around the corner this morning, it's a really good first impression. Terrific.
His tour guides for the day, Dale Mason and Alan Gilmore, have been carrying out Craig's vision since Universal Orlando Resort broke ground on the project last year.
I think it's kind of interesting, no matter all the models we built, this little slice here is narrower than I imagine when you stand in it.
Yeah. Which is good.
If it seems closed in, that's exactly how it's intended to feel, to faithfully represent old London. But the design is nothing more than an illusion masking the reality, that the scope of the Universal Parks project is enormous.
When you arrive in London, it's going to be as if you arrived in London. I mean, this is a real full-scale environment. You know, King's Cross Station, you've got, you know, the night bus will be parked out in front. And then you get to go through that wall of London, if you will, and into the actual magical area of Diagon Alley.
Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
The project may be ambitious in size, but the creators know that their success or failure lies not in its magnitude, but rather in the smallest of details.
I think fans will be most surprised by the authentic atmosphere, the immersion. Once you're in Diagon Alley, there's nothing else. You are in Harry's world.
Right now, Diagon Alley may look like a maze of steel and concrete to some.
There must be a steel shortage in America.
But to the team who conjured it from nothing, it's the realization of years of work, and it is starting to take shape.
Utilizing this to turn on and off the architectural layers, give ourselves our skeletal view of where all these things are going.
The goal is to recreate the film sets, but building a park in Central Florida presents some unique issues, namely hurricanes.
We've faced some enormous challenges.
Did they do a spear test?
The building codes increased, hurricane loading, the Florida weather. They shoot a piece of, I think it's 2x4 or 4x4 at a window, and it has to withstand that. Yeah. It's quite a big test.
Universal says one of its biggest challenges has been constructing the Wizarding World to look aged but conceal some sophisticated modern design. And safety is the top priority.
So we've had to really incorporate more structure, more detail, more safety.
When it's finished, Muggles will be granted access to the world of wizards and witches when they enter the enchanted area of London. And naturally, they can find anything they might need or want in Diagon Alley, such as a meal at the Leaky Cauldron or a magic wand at Ollivanders.
This hallway that we're in will be full height, dressed with thousands and thousands of wand boxes.
Here we are.
And at the end of the street will be Gringotts Bank, with a 64-foot fire-breathing dragon perched on top, a centerpiece of the park.
This will be one of the big angles where you get the whole profile of the dragon.
Yeah.
The creative team believes when it is in place, the dragon will provide a perfect focal point at the end of the alley. And the goblin-run bank below will be no less impressive for what is inside.
Vault 687.
In the movies, when you saw the Gringotts Bank, I think everybody pretty quickly realized that, man, that's a ride waiting to happen.
And they're starting to do the rock work up the top here.
Yeah.
So they're just starting to, and they spray the concrete on.
Yeah.
And
Constructing the vaults under the bank has been no small effort.
We have 37,411 square foot of sculpted stone inside this building. It's massive.
When the group surfaces from its journey below, the tour heads to a place Stuart Craig has been looking forward to visiting the entire day.
Welcome to King's Cross Station.
We're in the load station for the connector, which is King's Cross Station, London.
When work is completed in Switzerland on the Hogwarts Express, the magical train will make its way to Orlando and be installed here.
And the steam train comes right in here, everybody loads. It has the dimensions of a real station. So when that steam train pulls in here, I think it's just going to be astonishing, really astonishing.
It's still a long way away from opening day, almost 12 months, and the Universal creative team has many challenges ahead. But if Craig's tour today showed him anything, he says it's that the team is up to the test.
There are millions of huge problems. Nobody knows how they're going to be fixed, and they dive in and just work it out as they go along. That's most impressive.
Coming up, the clock is ticking toward the opening of the park.
Beat back those bludgers, boys, and chuck that
And the creative team tries to hit just the right note.
and chuck that quaffle here.
Crafting the attractions for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley is a mammoth effort that has spanned several years and taken the Universal creative team around the globe. From filming new 3D scenes on the same set as the movies to building the physical rides with the best craftsmen and artists, the goal is authenticity, and the bar is set very high. As opening day approaches, Terry Koo travels somewhere special.
Well, we are at Abbey Road Studios in London, recording with the London Symphony Orchestra, and we're recording a whole new arrangement for our new attractions. 100 musicians. Here's the same musicians that recorded all the music, the score for all the films, the wonderful music of John Williams.
If Abbey Road sounds familiar, it's because of its storied history with the Beatles.
I'm going to start with connector train Hogsmeade to London.
Here we go.
Today they're recording the music they will pair with the scenes Koo directed 16 months earlier for both the Hogwarts Express and the Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts attraction.
You'll recognize some of the themes, some of the score, but yet it is rearranged in a way that goes so well with this brand new adventure. Music brings emotions together. Even if you close your eyes and you just hear the music of John Williams from the Harry Potter movies, you start visualizing, you start experiencing and feeling these moments that Harry Potter lived.
So these carriages move along, you see, and as they move along a different section, another section of music will play. So we have to have a waiting, and then they come around the corner and we play TO7. So you see how it works.
Well, recording here with the London Symphony Orchestra is such a unique experience. It's probably one of the most exciting things we've done, and we want to bring that to our guests. This is what we do best.
Well played. Very good, really good.
The park is almost a month from opening and less than 2 weeks from the big preview event. Rehearsals are intensifying for actress Shalonda Lacombe as she transforms herself into singing sorceress Celestina Warbeck.
A friend called me up and said, there's a part I think you're going to be great for. They're looking for a jazz singer, and they want a woman who appreciates the stage. She's a star, if you would, in the wizarding world.
It's one of 2 live stage shows being presented here, along with the Tales of Beetle the Bard, inspired by the 2007 book by J.K. Rowling.
Every single piece of scenic is critically examined. Every single paint drop, every single hinge. It's an incredibly advanced process that we take to make sure that every item that we produce is completely valid within JK's world. Have a good show.
For example, the title of each tune heard in Diagon Alley has been conceived by Rowling herself.
Mix a pinch of spice with a dash of charm and a sprinkling of romance.
And in this tune, listeners learn new details about Celestina's wand.
Take it away, girls!
She's got her 3 banshees that sing behind her, and she brings to life these tunes. And it's the first time these songs have ever been sung or heard by anyone.
Beat back those Bludgers boys and chuck that quaffle here. Those noble navy robes know not one ounce of fear.
The staircasing goes up, and then we're going to call it good.
Patrick Graylard, Diagon Alley's entertainment show director, also worked on the entertainment at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade, next door to Diagon Alley. He's one of Celestina's most devoted Muggle followers.
I am the one, the only, the witch that's always on bid.
Her fame in the wizarding world is on rival with any Muggle pop star that you would have today.
Celestina Warbeck.
This is a character that's mentioned very briefly in the fiction. Molly Weasley mentions that she is a huge fan of Celestina.
From that mention, Diagon Alley's creators have brought the famous singer to life.
Beat back those Bludgers boys and chuck that quaffle here.
It's a gift, frankly, to be able to create within this world.
Nice job.
JK's fiction is so layered and so vast and vivid. The hard part is doing it justice. That's the most difficult challenge, I think.
He sought out a wizard with whom he had once quarreled. All of us are huge nerds about being here.
For actress Kristen Sherilla, her role in the Tales of Beetle the Bard is the latest phase of a passion she traces to her childhood.
So death took the first brother. I am a huge fan. Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, I remember I went to all the midnight releases for all the books, and I'd actually make one of my parents stand in line to actually pay for the book while I started reading it, sitting under one of the display tables in the bookstore.
The show features recreations of 2 fairy tales known to Harry Potter and his friends, said to be written by a 15th century author.
It's the fairy tales that the children in the wizarding world got to hear on a nightly basis.
Tales of Beetle the Bard is a book that J.K. wrote that's separate from the Harry Potter novels.
There were once 3 brothers who were traveling along a lonely, winding road.
Beetle is kind of like the Aesop fable of the wizarding world.
What our show does is remind people about the heart of the stories, because the wizarding world is filled with tales of courage, friendship, love, and those are the things that made people fall in love with the Harry Potter series in the first place.
Coming up,
We're leaving Hogsmeade.
a special group gets a sneak peek at the magic to come.
So I see somebody familiar here? Old friend? Hi, Hagrid.
Hi, Hagrid.
With the Diagon Alley preview event just a couple of weeks away, the team is working feverishly to get every detail exactly right.
I feel we're very close now. The last few details are the most important ones.
Hey, welcome to Hogsmeade Station. How are you?
Good, how are you?
But Alan Gilmore and Thierry Koo take a break from their hectic schedules to give a tour to some very important guests.
So what do you think? How cool is this?
It's incredible.
Bonnie Wright,
Hello.
who played Ginny Weasley, and James and Oliver Phelps, who played her mischievous twin brothers in the Warner Brothers films.
We're going to get to ride the Hogwarts Express.
Yes.
And their trip starts, like many of Harry Potter's adventures, aboard the Hogwarts Express.
Here it is.
Imported from Switzerland and now installed in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
Their destination is King's Cross Station.
We're leaving Hogsmeade.
Then on to Diagon Alley.
So I see somebody familiar here. Old friend.
Oh,
Hi, Hagrid.
Hi, Hagrid.
The journey starts. You don't think you're in Florida.
You can really feel the train, can't you?
Yeah,
You feel
you
it
really
over the
can.
tracks. It's absolutely right.
And you can feel it in your seat as you're going. And then when you turn corners in the train, you can feel the train moving like that.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, look at that.
Now that part, remember that? It was almost 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. I remember I only took one take, but someone else took a few more.
Yeah.
I took one take. He took about 10. Just saying.
Does your head fit on the ride as well?
Just about,
Just
yeah.
about.
Big wide screen.
Yeah, excellent.
Welcome to London, guys. Welcome to King's Cross. The first moments when they disembarked the train were quite special.
Oh my God, we're in London.
The station is a replica of King's Cross in London.
We spent 2 weeks working out how dirty the rubbish bins should be.
Except for one thing. In the real version, passengers don't arrive or depart from platform 9 3/4. So how do you get to that enchanted platform at the King's Cross station in Orlando? Well, that's a bit of magic the Universal creative team won't reveal just yet. From King's Cross station, the group heads through London.
Here's the night bus.
To the main attraction, Diagon Alley.
And as you'd expect it, there's no sign that says here's the entrance to Diagon Alley. I mean, it's just totally
Where is it?
magical, exactly.
As the story goes, Diagon Alley is meant to be hidden from the Muggle world.
That goes completely against what you would do in a theme park when you know that tens of thousands of guests, millions of guests a year are going to be going into Diagon Alley. You want to put big signs up, right? And well, we didn't want to do that because it's not that way in the stories.
Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
The moment comes for Koo, Gilmore, and the actors to walk through the unmarked wall in Orlando.
Ta-da! Here it is.
This is huge.
Wright and the Phelps twins say entering the Wizarding World goes well beyond their expectations or their experience on the film sets.
I think the scale of Diagon Alley completely blew me away. I thought it'd be much smaller. Oh my God! It's even more real and immersive here than it was on the sets, and the attention to detail is just above and beyond.
As workers are still applying those details everywhere in the park, the group makes its way up Diagon Alley, tracing Harry's footsteps.
But Hagrid, how am I to pay for all this? I haven't any money.
Well, there's your money, Harry. Gringotts, the Wizard Bank.
Here we are, Gringotts Bank.
Wow.
You walk through this great experience. It isn't like a line to a ride, it's just an experience. I've never seen anything like it, not even on a film set, of things of that scale.
That chandelier is amazing. It's beautiful.
Like the size of the chandelier.
It's like a 20-foot chandelier in there, which is just, who does that for a theme park ride?
This is the full size of Gringotts Bank Lobby. This is how it was designed, and in the film it was a virtual set, but here it's real.
So we're here to open an account.
Yeah. How do we open one?
The premise for Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is that while standing in line, visitors will be asked by a goblin if they want to open a bank account.
Here to open an account, go directly to the office at the end of the corridor. From there, you will be escorted to the vaults. Well, that's all. Move along.
Because the park is still weeks from opening, the Gringotts attraction is still under wraps and not ready for the actors or the world just yet.
All right. Can't wait to have you on the ride soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coo and Gilmore bring them up from the depths of the bank to somewhere the twins have been waiting to visit all day, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'm back on the set exactly as it was.
One thing I really like about the Weasley's shop is there's like a 15-foot version of myself. So who wouldn't like that, right?
Nothing ever changes, does it?
And as the Phelps brothers explore the joke shop bearing the name of the characters they played,
Try nosebleed nougat, but don't tell the lady doing the makeup.
they can't hide their excitement.
Oh, the detail's fantastic. Egg and spoon race.
Tearing into toys like they own the place.
Want a race?
I'll give you a race.
You're on. Woohoo!
Ah. You break it, you pay.
Gilmore and Coo want to end the tour as any day on Diagon Alley should end, with a little bit of magic.
You can come to different windows, different shops within Diagon Alley. You can actually make things happen. Magic happens in the windows. So why don't we try and see what happens?
Pressure, thanks very much. Descendo. Hey.
Well done. Right, who's next? They were so excited to see the world fully built. It was a really, really positive reaction to all our hard work. It's such a brilliant journey. It's hard, but so worthwhile.
Coming up, families get the first look at Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, and the magical moment we've all been waiting for. At Universal Studios Florida, the wizarding world of Harry Potter Diagon Alley is about to be unveiled to the media and the world at the big red carpet preview event.
Amazing, really, really enchanting and really wondrous and transporting.
There isn't a square inch that hasn't been meticulously thought of.
Fans came to wave and say hi. That just shows the appreciation.
You're a part of it. You're not watching Harry's journey. You are taking your own unique journey through the world.
In this place, there's more doors to open and drawers to open.
Finally, it's time. And in true Harry Potter fashion, none other than Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid himself, takes us into the wizarding world.
Welcome everybody to Diagon Alley.
For the creative team that's overseen every painstaking detail, it's an emotional moment.
And it's a bit bittersweet to me, actually, because we've worked so hard and we've created this thing and we're actually handing it off. Here's where we give it to the guest.
The morning after Universal reveals Diagon Alley to the world, the creative team gets to do something it's wanted for a long time: share its creation with the people it was intended for all along.
There it is.
There's a snitch, look at the snitch.
For the first time ever, a group of kids and their parents, families of Universal employees,
Let's check it out. Let's check everything out.
are given a dream tour.
Oh my God, look at that.
It's what's below that dragon, deep in the vault of Gringotts Bank, that fascinates the kids. The park's feature ride, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Before they get there, the kids want to explore every corner of Diagon Alley. It's the creative team's first chance to receive feedback, unfiltered, from their young guests.
Is there any Gryffindors here? I'm a Gryffindor.
The kids absolutely mesmerized by everything they saw. They looked up, they looked everywhere, they looked up at the dragon. There was so much to see.
Anybody remember how do you open a monster book? How do you open a monster? You pet its spine.
I tested a few of them on a few questions. What's that in a cage? A pygmy puff. They're lovely, aren't they? They're really cozy. They had every answer. They knew the books and they knew the films.
What was the name of the Harry Potter's owl? Edwig. Good. You guys know everything.
We should get them in as consultants the next time. They can help us out.
They're eating it up. They're doing everything that I sort of imagined that they would do in the beginning. They're exploring.
They have really big hands.
The kids enter the money exchange,
Welcome to Gringotts Money Exchange, everyone.
where currency can be changed for Gringotts banknotes, and an interactive goblin is waiting to greet his first visitors.
Anybody wants to ask him something?
How old are you?
Old enough.
How much money do you have?
I cannot answer that.
How long have you been standing there?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Finally, the group moves on to the most anticipated attraction in Diagon Alley. These are the first families ever to sample the centerpiece of the park, the 3D motion-based Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts ride. While the children depart for their adventure, the creative team remains behind and tries to gauge their reaction by the sounds emanating from inside.
We may hear the screaming through the tunnels, we'll see.
Wingardium Leviosa! We heard you guys scream.
Was that you?
No, it wasn't me.
No, are you sure? We heard this big scream and you went down, yeah?
That's the favorite ride. I know. My new favorite ride.
All right, Gringotts! Gringotts!
To wind the day down, the tour ends with a cold treat. Butterbeer ice cream.
What's your favorite ice cream? Butterbeer? This one? It's always Butterbeer is the favorite, isn't it? Yeah.
The journey to build Diagon Alley has been an adventure worthy of Harry Potter himself. With the July 8th opening just around the corner, the actors, artists, and craftsmen who brought this attraction to life see for themselves the magic they've conjured.
I stood in the entrance to Diagon Alley tonight and watched as the first guest walked in. They loved what they saw and it fulfilled what we wanted them to experience.
It's amazing, and it's a real testimony to it's a classic.
There's certain stories that people love and become a part of their childhood, and then they give it to their kids and it keeps on going.
And there'll be people coming here that haven't even been born yet who will fall in love with Harry Potter and want to come and experience it for themselves.
The smiles, the excitement, the screams, you feel like you've lived the adventure of your life.
Given the Boy Wizard's global appeal and massive fan base, it's easy to forget that the first Harry Potter book was published less than 20 years ago. Today, the Potter phenomenon counts 7 books, 8 films, and now 2 theme park attractions that delight Harry's fans of all ages. This latest incarnation, the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, shows just how strongly the boy who lived continues to live on. I'm Meredith Vieira. Thank you for watching.
American Ninja Warrior starts now.